Hey guys, how you doing? Tonight we're going to work on the second movement when setting up the basic stance, and that's the bending of the knees. In the first video we looked at the starting position and then the finishing position, and the finishing position of the first movement is a starting position for the second movement. So the movement is, we have a straight spine, an elongated spine, and we withdraw the arms to the height of the center line. And the next movement now is the bending of the knees. Now, why do we want to bend the knees in the first place? We want to bend the knees so that we lower our center of gravity. And this means the ratio between the height and the width is diminished, which means we have theoretically a wider base and we have more stability. So we want to lower our knees as much as possible, but we are restricted, and that we're restricted by the toes. So in any activity when you're bending the knees, just bring the knees in line with the tippy toes. If you bring the knees further than the toes, the knees are taking too much strain, and you're going to end up in 5 or 10 years having bad knees, and you're going to be complaining saying Wing Chun gives you bad knees. Wing Chun doesn't give you bad knees if you do the movement properly. The other thing to consider is, when you're bending the knees must always bend in the direction of the toes. So if I have my toes separated out like this and I bend my knees, the knees are not going in the direction of the toes, and again you're going to have problems with the knees. So the toes are pointing forwards, and don't do this either. Don't bend the knees like this. So the knees must bend in the direction of the toes as much as you can until the knees are in line with the toes. The very last thing is to maintain a straight spine. So sometimes when people bend the knees, their hips go forwards. This is not called a pelvic tilt, it's called a forward shift. It's not good in your spine, it's not good in your lower back. Similarly, we don't want to have a posterior pelvic tilt like this, but the spine is straight, we withdraw the arms, and as we're bending the knees, we keep the spine stacked on top of the pelvis until the knees are bent over the toes and the knees are bent in line with the toes. And that's just the second movement in setting up your stance. Thanks guys.